Well, joining us on the set now is Thomas Harries, editor-in-chief of Response Magazine, and they have a big show coming up in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be April 26th. It's actually their 10th anniversary, and that's the Response Expo. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Unbelievable. That's already been 10 years since you guys kind of put this all together.
It's really something to think that we've been doing this now 10 years, and having done the magazine for 15.
Right.
You know, it's crazy to think that we're already 10 years into doing this event. It's been really fulfilling though for us, and I think it's been great for the industry as well.
Did the show grow from a magazine? You had a little bit of traction there for a couple of years, and you thought, you know, we need another outlet for this.
Yeah, I mean the magazine, actually we're hitting our 25th anniversary at the magazine later this year, and so John Yarrington, our publisher, and I have both been there about 15, 16 years, and we were doing the magazine. It was really going well. The industry was interested in kind of doing more networking, more on-site learning. So we thought, okay, let's give this a go. And we've grown from, I think we had 1,200 people that first year, and we're expecting about 3,500 there this year. So
I liked your article that you had written in the January issue. You talked about community, and really this is what you guys are doing. You're putting together an opportunity for people that are in the business to network and really talk about where is this industry going and what have we done.
Right. That's really the main goal, is to give people a forum where they can feel comfortable, not feel pushed in any one direction, but just feel comfortable talking about where they fit in the business, what they do, and how the business is going, how we can all get together and create more opportunities for everyone in the business, whether you're talking about a marketer of a product who's been around for a long time, or if you're talking about an inventor who's bringing a new product to the table, or if you're talking to anyone about that supply chain, the producers, the media buyers, all that group. It's really about bringing all those folks together and giving them an opportunity to drive the business forward.
Absolutely. And I like the educational seminars you have too. You always have good speakers. A lot of them have been in the industry for many years, and they're very candid in their answers. You can ask them a question and they'll tell you, yeah, that was a difficult situation, we got through it, and this is how we did it.
Yeah, I think we've driven a comfort level with the speakers. They understand that you know, a lot of them eventually come through as being a cover story initially, so they get that comfort level when we work with them on a cover story, understanding that we want to tell their story in a way that, you know, that they're comfortable with. We don't want them to give up all their secrets, but at the same time, then we drive them into a speaking role at the show, and usually we put them with like speakers who aren't necessarily in their vertical market. So we're not going to necessarily put a beauty marketer with another beauty marketer, but we'll put a beauty marketer with a travel marketer, for instance, so they don't feel competitive, but they'll feel comfortable like sharing and really learning, almost learning from each other while they're on stage in front of the crowd, which is probably as valuable as it gets.
Yeah, because their products might be different, but their challenges might be, you know, quite different, but yet very similar as well.
I mean, the challenges are getting more and more stringent as we go along. You know, the way that technology is changing in TV and online and so forth. That's really creating a lot more challenges, and it's creating a situation where these marketers are definitely using more outlets to reach consumers. The consumer, you know, your viewer here, that person is more demanding than ever. They want to be reached when and where they want to be reached, and no other time.
Right.
So that's a big challenge for the marketer.
Back in the old days, we could throw a line out at, you know, out over the boat, and sooner or later you're going to get someone. But nowadays they're all over the place. So how do you find that challenge? You know, how are you going to meet that challenge to keep that viewer engaged? And obviously the product helps a lot. The pitch person helps a lot. Technology though is really changing the way the viewer, you know, consumes.
It's intriguing because I think, you know, it's actually starting to circle back around already. Though it's you know, people look at it and say, well, how do I reach people when they're watching Netflix and they're watching other over-the-top opportunities on their, you know, where they're not actually watching, you know, their regular TV channels on a regular time frame anymore. But those opportunities are out there. People are learning how to utilize them. At the same time, folks are becoming more adept with online opportunities and buying online. They're feeling more comfortable buying online. They're feeling more comfortable buying through their mobile phones, through their iPads and so forth and so on. So how do you reach them there? And it's really about having a campaign that is called kind of omni-channel is the word that they use, reaching consumers everywhere that they want to be, and really driving that feeling of hey, we're here. We're not pushing, but we're here and we've got a great product or a great service for you. You've got a trustworthy name behind it. and finding ways to get to them. So at the end of the day, we looked at it 3 years ago, and you think, well, call centers are going to go out of
That's what I was
business.
just thinking.
Call centers were going to go out of business. You
Right.
thought because no one's calling anymore to make an order. They're all making orders online. Well, call centers are back in business in a big way right now because customer service is where they're at now.
Right.
People still want to call for customer service. People get tired of bouncing around online trying to find customer service. They want to call, or they want to do an online chat for customer service. So call centers have adjusted, and that's what it's taking all of the people in our business. They have to adjust to this new world, but once they adjust, they find the opportunities are there for them.
Wow, and that's really what it is. And I think a lot of people too, the demographic probably, depending on the product obviously, but the demographic is probably a little bit older when you're talking about infomercial and products. Those people, they want to talk on the phone and they want to have their questions answered by a real person. So the call center is going to be there for quite some time.
Right, it's true. It's very, very true. And one of the biggest categories nowadays for straight direct response advertising is the Medicare insurance, the stuff with Obamacare and Medicare that comes up. Your viewers probably notice it very regularly for the last 3 or 4 months of every year, and even in the January of the following year. The Humanas and the United Healthcares and all these companies, they're now among the biggest advertisers in our space, mainly because they've got a lot riding on this now, and they know where they can reach their consumer. The consumer that's watching your show and the consumer that's here in this market is via TV.
Right, that's that silver tsunami that everybody's waiting for. That demographic is growing so quickly, and there are a lot of products and services for that.
Absolutely.
How important do you think the pitch person is to a lot of the success of these products?
I think over the years the pitch person has been incredibly crucial. We've hosted many of those great pitch people over the years at the Expo, and I've interviewed a lot of them. The classics, the Billy Mays, rest in peace, Billy, but Anthony Sullivan's, the Suzanne Summers, who's in our Direct Response Hall of Fame, Lisa Gibbons, who's actually being inducted to our Direct Response Hall of Fame at the Expo in a couple of weeks. Right. Those people that drive that kind of trust from their fan base, that's irreplaceable.
It is,
and it's incredibly important. That said, some of the newer products, newer services they're finding advertised on TV, it's a little bit less important. It just depends on really what the product is.
And I think it's interesting too. Like obviously, a Suzanne Summers or Lisa Gibbons, they already had a following. Whether it was television, with shows.
Right.
But when you talk about Billy Mays and Sully and Phil Swift, you're like, these guys weren't on Three's Company. No. They weren't on shows like this that were on prime time, yet the consumer finds them trustworthy, and the product will do much better.
Yeah, there's an entertainment. It starts, I think, with being entertained.
Right.
Billy was extremely entertaining. Sully's very entertaining. Phil's got a great personality that really shines through, and it's funny.
Right.
But at the end of the day, then people try their product. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll give it a shot, and the product works. Then they become trusted. Right. Billy made his career on OxyClean, and that's because OxyClean was a great product from the word go.
Absolutely.
Sully's made a great career out of what he's done because he's taken on the right products that work, and that's the key. It's the combination of the product, the personality, the trust, all those things coming together.
Speaking of products, because you're kind of an insider in this industry, do you get a chance to see products, and then are there times you see a product and go, oh my gosh, that's going to be a big seller? And
yeah.
Do they share that with you at all?
We do see products. We've done with some of the bigger as seen on TV marketers that are out there in the space. We've done pitch days where we see inventors come in. We have a slate of inventors that come to Response Expo every year, but we've done single day pitch days with some of the marketers in the business. And so you see products, and then we'll sit on the review board, and you see things that you think, oh, that's going to be great, and then it doesn't pan out. And then you see things where you're like, oh, this is like nothing. Snuggie.
Yeah.
And the Snuggie, they sell 25 million of them in a year and a half.
Exactly.
So that's one of the big secrets of the Snuggie is one of the largest as seen on TV marketers there is. One of the biggest ones in the world. Turned down the Snuggie because they thought, oh, this is nothing. Another one picked it up and
killed it.
Yeah, killed it.
Yeah, you want to dress like a monk and be warm? It's the Snuggie.
It's funny. I was actually looking back on my Facebook today, and I saw a picture of me wearing a Snuggie from like 6 years ago just hanging out with some people in the industry. So the industry's got a great sense of humor about it though too. People get behind it when there's a success in that as seen on TV space. The people who work in that as seen on TV space really get behind it and have a good time with it.
Well, before I let you go, I wanted to mention that you did just sign your keynote speaker, and you're very excited about that. We actually showed a film regarding him recently. Tell us about that person.
Yeah, it's Philippe Petit. He is best known for walking a wire between the towers of the World Trade Center in 1974. As you noted, the movie, the Robert Zemeckis film, The Walk, is about him with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I actually watched it on a plane a couple weeks ago. Really entertaining. And then, of course, there was actually a documentary that he was involved in called Man on Wire, which won an Oscar about 7 or 8 years ago. Just a really intriguing guy, French, obviously, with the name Philippe Petit, but he is a magician, a high wire artist. He does a little bit of everything, you know, a street performer. He's spoken at the TED conferences, which, you know, that's kind of where we found him, was via his TED speech. Really intriguing guy, fits in with the history that we've had over the years of really intriguing, different, great speakers that inspire. Our goal with our keynote is it kind of fits in with what we try to create, that atmosphere we were talking about earlier at the show, where people feel comfortable networking and excited to network and get together and talk about the business. That keynote really is about inspiring people and setting the tone for the week, to getting them to understand, like, hey, we're all here to make this world better, to make this business better. And the message that I think Philippe's going to bring to the table is going to do that.
Absolutely, and that's what it does. You know, the keynote that night really does. You've had Magic Johnson, Brian Billick, some sports guys. You also had Bob Geldof one time.
Bob Geldof, that was great. Last year we had Peter Guber, the movie mogul and the co-owner of the Golden State Warriors. So it was great. It was great timing for us last year when he spoke for us, and a few weeks later they were accepting the NBA trophy. So that was fantastic. Nice, but yeah, we've had some great guys, and they all bring something different to the table.
They do, and it's nice because it's interactive, because you actually let the audience ask some questions, and then you find out even more about them. And you just, you know, you walk away like, wow, these guys have done so much. Not just in their industry, but throughout, you know, everything that they touch.
You understand where you understand where their success comes from after you listen to them.
Well, it's no wonder that this is your 10th anniversary. You're going to be celebrating that this April 26th. It's over there at the beautiful Hilton Bayfront in San Diego, of course. Can't beat that, right?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and they've been great for us. We were one of their first shows that signed on when they opened up, and have a great relationship with them. They're fantastic.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us on the program today, talking a little bit of television and direct response television especially. Thanks so much for joining us. That's Tom Harry's the editor-in-chief of Response Magazine, and they're going to have their 10th anniversary Response Expo in San Diego coming April 26th. We'll be back for more of our program right after this.